I hope you're having a good day, and it's nice to be able to talk with you. I wanted to say hi to my friends out there who have been so kind to watch my videos. I get a lot of good feedback, and I thank you for that. There's been an area that I've been thinking about for quite some time, and I've talked with my friends about it, and particularly those who work with me in the field of public speaking. And so I wanted to try to share for you in a condensed version some information about a product that I'm going to talk about in a speech very, very soon. You've probably seen these before. Now, this particular item, of course, is a replica of a safety cone. That's called a safety cone. The reason why is because obviously it's orange. Orange is a natural fluorescent safety color that is used because it reflects very well both at night as well as quite bright during the day. And you see these cones everywhere. They're used for closing off lanes as you're merging down during construction sites. They're used to close off parking spots so that you don't park in places you shouldn't be. And they're also used to remind you of places where construction is going on, and if you're walking, you want to avoid them and walk around those sites because you could possibly step into a hole or fall and have an injury. This is a very, very good device for protecting you. But if you look at a cone, the cone also has a lot of other useful purposes. When I think of a cone from a fun point of view, I often think about how much I enjoy ice cream cones. I like to go to places where they make the waffle cones, and then you go and you pick out any one of 53 flavors, and you put them in that waffle cone and you walk out, and you can imagine you're holding a waffle cone and a stack of 3 scoops of great tasting ice cream on the top. When I really have the money and can afford to do it, I might go to a specific place named, I believe, I can't even remember, it's Ben & Jerry's. And they have a cone called Cherries Garcia. And I happen to know from my history, I'm 66, that Jerry Garcia, who is now deceased, was the lead singer of the Grateful Dead. And I was listening to the Grateful Dead when I was in college. Okay, that's an ice cream cone. If you have a pet, and as you know, those that follow me, I have cats. And if cats have surgery, one of the things they have to do is you have to keep them from licking the wound and causing the stitches to come out. So they put a cone around the animal. They do this to dogs and to cats, and it makes it impossible for them to be able to mess with that place. We call it the cone of shame. I don't know why. It was designed to help them, but I think they feel like they're being shamed. Speaking of shamed, do you know there was a time when teachers in public schools many decades ago actually had a cone-shaped cap? And this cone-shaped cap would be placed on the head of any student that acted unruly or didn't do his homework or her homework. It was called a dunce cap, D-U-N-C-E. And the punishment and humiliation was that you had to sit on a stool in front of the class by the blackboard with the teacher up there and everybody in their desk looking straight ahead, and you sat with that cap on top of your head and the letters D-U-N-C-E, you dunce, and you had to sit up there as your punishment. It was embarrassing, but this was a form of corporal punishment, humiliation. What about the humor of the cone? I remember the early episodes of Saturday Night Live with the original not ready for primetime players, and I remember in particular among those great actors and very funny people, Dan Aykroyd, Jane Curtin, and Lorraine Newman. And they started a series of vignettes featuring a family from a planet called Remulac. And they were called the Coneheads. When they came to Earth, they tried to fit in. Of course, anybody that looked at them could tell there's no way the Coneheads could fit in. But Gweldar and his family nonetheless tried to exist on planet Earth as Conehead aliens. It was great for a laugh. Sometimes if you go into a bakery and you watch a master baker, particularly a cake designer, They will take parchment paper or some other form of paper that they can put in buttercream frosting or other types of frosting, and they will then take and form a cone, and then with precise work they will take and do detailed artwork on that cake utilizing that cone. It occurred to me that the cone is very much a part of our lives. Even when you watch a weather forecast and they talk about an approaching hurricane and they do all these spaghetti models, there is always a cone of uncertainty. Here's the hurricane, but the position of the hurricane and as to which direction it's going to go can vary. Now somebody is saying, okay, John, what's the point of telling us all this history of the cone? Most of us know this, and if we didn't know it, at least we know a little more than we did before, and that's true, but I'm not talking just to be talking. There are two ways to look at this cone in my life. I can look at it like a lot of people do in a business model. I think of it as a triangular shaped formation, but it's round, not like a pyramid. But if you think of it in a triangular shaped formation, in a business structure, at the bottom you have the people that do the work. These are the individuals that are at the lower end of the salary range and carry the most basic component jobs. I call them the braves. Then as you move up, you have the individuals that serve in the middle levels. They've aspired, they've come to this spot. But no matter what you do in any structure of business, in any kind of organization, there is always a person or persons at the top. And they are the individuals by which the company aspires to be successful for, and they are the individuals that have the most important decisions as to success. My success is predicated not upon just my talents. My success is predicated on the fact that in the course of my life in becoming a professional speaker, an author, and also a successful Toastmaster and a distinguished Toastmaster at that, has been because along my life I have had literally hundreds and hundreds of individuals who have played an integral role in helping me to come to the place that I am today. A lot of people go through life thinking of themselves as their own island. I like to think that basically speaking, they're like this. They've got it upside down. Everything comes down to they being the reason for existing, and everybody depends upon them, and that's why everybody rests on them. I am what I am because of others. I am what I am because of people who cared. I am what I am and will always be because I will never forget the people that are helping me now and the people that helped me throughout the course of my life. That's why nothing gives me greater joy than to give you a gift. Think about the cone the next time you see one, and try to smile because the cone is a reminder of how great your life can be.